Palantir is a company you've probably never heard of until recently, even though it's been around as a private business for the last 2 decades almost. However, recently the business has been making headlines because they do intend to go public this year at around a $20 billion valuation, which would mark this as one of the most expensive tech IPOs ever, and the largest IPO since Uber went public last year. So what makes Palantir such an exciting opportunity? Why are so many investors excited for this IPO? Why have you guys been asking me to make a video on this stock? I'm gonna answer all those questions in today's video. I'll kind of give you a sneak peek here. I am actually pretty interested in this business as well for what they do. I think it's gonna be a very exciting company once they go public. I think a lot of investors are gonna flock into the stock when they do go public, and I'm going to share with you my thoughts on that in today's video. Alright, so right before we get into the meat and potatoes of this video, guys, I would appreciate it if you could smash or gently tap that like button down below. And if you do feel that my videos provide you any value, consider hitting that join button as well, right beside that subscribe button if you want to support this channel. But either way, guys, let's get into it. So you're probably wondering what Palantir does. So taken from their website, the company makes products for human-driven analysis of real-world data. Sounds fancy, sounds interesting, but what exactly does this mean? So the company is really all about data, about gathering data, sorting data, working with data, and what they want to do is provide insights and tie things together which may otherwise be missed. There's just so much data out there, and unless you link them in the appropriate manner, it's really irrelevant in most aspects, and a lot of information is seen as kind of useless information unless it's in the right context. What this company does is that they build a platform for integrating, managing, and securing data, on top of which they layer applications for fully interactive, human-driven, machine-assisted analysis. In this new world we're living in, guys, where every business is really forced to go online or have some sort of online presence, data is extremely important, and there's more data now than ever before. So naturally, there's a lot that can be learned and detected proactively with data which may otherwise be missed if it wasn't for companies like this that's here to tabulate that for us. Now, the applications and customers for their products is broken down into 2 segments of the business. Palantir Gotham is one that is used by counterterrorism analysts at offices in the United States intelligence community and United States Department of Defense. The other segment is Palantir Foundry, and it's used by corporate clients that have a lot of data, like Morgan Stanley and Airbus, for example. There are 2 very different segments here of the business, but as an investor, this is exciting because it tells me that the company has very close relationships, not only with some large corporations, which will help them continue growing over time, but it also means that they have really close ties here with the government, which is a very powerful position to be in. Because of the scope of the company and the vast number of types of industries they're able to play in, they are able to offer products across a wide range of segments, including AI, machine learning, insurance, automotive, finance, and much, much more. So this looks like a very exciting company, guys. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna downplay this. I'm actually really interested here in what they do from a consumer standpoint and just a general, person standpoint. It's really interesting. And guys, from an investment perspective, I'm actually pretty excited by the fact that they have a lot of government contracts, because that shows me a sense of stability and trust in the business, because the government's not really going to go out there and just throw their money at any old company. They have to really earn that, and Palantir here has done that. Now, if you go to their website, you'll find a list of press releases on deals that they've won, and you can see a ton of government contracts and other deals as well. This company consistently has deals being made, beating out the competition. Like here, they won a space contract, they won a US Navy deal, and they won a new Pentagon deal just over the last few months. So there's a lot to be excited about. In an interview from January of this year on CNBC, their CEO did state that they had around $1.5 billion in contracts that are public, and there are more private contracts that they are not able to discuss, but it shows the size of deals that they tend to win here. So there's a lot of potential with this business. Government deals make up around 50% of the company's revenue, as discussed in that interview, so they are fairly split between this and corporate deals that comprise of overall revenue for the company. Now, the other side of really investing in a business like this is kind of like the ethical or moral part of the business here and what they're trying to achieve. There's been a lot of controversy around this because they have access to so much data, but I think that a business like this can save a ton of lives, and they've already done so in many instances in the past. Most recently, they're working with the CDC on the global issue to help monitor where the global issue is spreading to, and it proactively checks how well equipped hospitals are to deal with the spike in cases. The company can also use data in many different ways to find and prevent different types of terror attacks and prevent crimes, prevent other sort of disasters, you name it. And as long as there's data out there, guys, which in this world there's no shortage of data, and there's new data being uploaded on the internet every single second, this business is really in a position to shine, because not only are they going to benefit from the corporate side of things as companies grow, but they're also going to benefit from the government side of things as governments focus more and more on security. Now, a business is only as good as its management team and CEO, so we need to spend a couple minutes here to discuss their CEO. So the CEO's name is Alexander Karp, and he is a billionaire thanks to this business that he co-founded. And guys, this guy is the real deal. He has credentials that I thought were quite impressive here. He got a bachelor's from Harvard College, a Juris Doctor from Stanford University, and then a PhD in neoclassical social theory from the Goethe University, Frankfurt. Honestly, guys, after listening to a couple interviews from him, you get the gut feeling that he has a unique mind. He isn't flashy, he isn't trying to sell you anything, and he is very intelligent and has plans and ideas to change the world that we live in with data. And honestly, his track record speaks for itself, as he has built a $20 billion giant. This is the kind of CEO I personally like to stand behind, because it instills confidence in me that he knows what he's doing and is able to grow the business successfully and consistently. So if you want to check out that interview from CNBC that I mentioned here, I will leave a link description down below. I think it's a very insightful interview. It's not too long, about 10 or 11 minutes, I believe. But the amount of insight you get from that and kind of the confidence that he instills in you in such a short period of time is quite impressive. And I'll just say this, when the company goes public, this could be a major deciding factor as to whether I invest in the company or not. Now, as much as I like talking about the business and how they are and the management team and all this other stuff, a major part of whether I'll invest in a company or not is how their balance sheet looks. And unfortunately, because this company is still private currently, there isn't a lot of insight here. I'm not going to invest in a company just because, or just because I like the name of it or the brand or whatever. They have to have good fundamentals for me to put my money into. And I think over the next few weeks and months, as they continue this process to go public, we will see more documents come out, and we will get a lot more information and insight on their financials. Now, one piece of news I found interesting, which was recently released, was a recent SEC filing that they did to raise around $961 million in cash. Now, out of this almost $1 billion they wanted to raise, a little over half of it had already been raised, as seen in their Form D filing, and another $411 million is remaining to be sold here. Now, most of that $550 million already raised came from a Japanese insurer company called Somco back in June, and this shows the global reach of Palantir, attracting investments, sizable ones at that, from international companies, making the potential for future expansion and growth much more solidified. Now, in terms of the business actually going public, of course, as a retail investor, I'm excited. Whether I choose to invest in it or not, I love seeing businesses go public because you get an insight into their financials, how they run the business, and you learn so much more about the company than if they were just a private company. However, that being said, we have to be realistic here, and we have to remember why companies generally go public. More often than not, it's because they are cash strapped and they need to raise more cash, and they typically go the IPO process to raise that cash with investors' money. So when they go public, a lot of retail investors will flood money into that company, and that's kind of an indirect process for them to raise more capital in the business. More often than not, especially with tech businesses, you will see them go out there and say they're going public, even though they're losing hundreds of millions or billions of dollars, and from an investment perspective, things look horrible, But in some cases, even though the numbers look bad at first, if they have a path to profitability, or I believe that they can become profitable in the near future, I will still consider investing in the business regardless of their current losses. Remember, investments are all about the future potential. It doesn't really matter too much how the business has done in the past, as long as they have a plan to execute and perform well for the future. So really, when it comes to Palantir, I'll say this: I love the business, I love what they do, I love the space that they're in, I love that they're a company that really deals with data on both the corporate side as well as the government side, and I love their management team and their CEO especially. The only thing holding me back right now is, of course, a big thing, which is their balance sheet. And until I can see that, and until I get some insight into that, and I'm able to see how much cash they have, how much debt they have, what their liabilities look like, what their assets look like, all that kind of fun stuff, I cannot make a decision either way on whether this is an investment or not. But what I will tell you is this: so far, apart from the balance sheet, this looks like a rock solid business and a company that I personally would love to have a piece of. It reminds me kind of Boeing with their government piece and their commercial piece. And although Boeing is struggling right now, it's still an incredible business and has been for many, many decades. And I think that Palantir is on that same path of becoming a great business for many more decades to come. But guys, if you want me to make a video when they release their financial statements on everything from their income statements to their balance sheet to their cash flow statements, let me know in the comment section down below, and I will make that video happen if there is interest in that. But either way, guys, I appreciate your support. Remember, smash that like button down below. But either way, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to invest positively, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.